Ready to level up your SwiftUI skills? In this follow-up video, I will share 5 more powerful prompts that will help you master the tougher parts of SwiftUI. You'll learn how to think like a pro developer, sharpen your understanding of navigation, improve performance, and even test yourself with a mini quiz. These prompts go beyond the basics to give you the confidence and mindset shift every iOS developer needs when moving from UIKit to SwiftUI. Make sure to also check out the link in the description for SwiftUI Prompt Camp. Now, today I'm going to dive into 5 more SwiftUI ChatGPT prompts that I've been using and I found really useful. In the previous episode, I started off with 5 and this is the last 5. The link for the whole playlist is again in the description. Now, previously we started off with views. Now today I'm going to start off with data handling. Most probably you already know that SwiftUI is all about data handling. So here is my first prompt. Explain the difference between @state, @binding, and @observable, and when to use each. Please note that I'm not asking about the old property wrappers. I'm talking about the new @observable and of course binding and state. Okay, so let's hit return over there and let's see it. Okay, so state. What is it? A source of truth. Yes, indeed, it is a source of truth for a value local to a single view. This is really important. It's for a single view only. SwiftUI owns it and keeps it alive as long as the view exists. Yes. And here is an analogy. That's really nice. Imagine a small notepad inside your view. The view owns it, writes on it, and whenever something changes, the review re-enters. When to use? For simple local properties that belong only to this view. Examples, toggle switches, counters, text field input. Yes, and here's an example of that. Now, what is the binding? What is it? A reference to some state that is owned elsewhere. Let's a child view read and write a parent state. Yes, indeed. It's like your child borrowing a pen to write on your notepad instead of making their own. The parent still owns the data. Now, this is a good analogy. I really like it. When to use? When a child view needs to modify a parent state without owning it. Yes, so it's preventing duplicating sources of truths. And not just preventing the duplication of sources of truth, it's just making sure that the other view has access to the owner view, the parent view. And here is a really nice example. Observable, iOS 17 plus. Now I'm really curious about this. What is it? A model object that can be shared across multiple views. It automatically makes all its properties observable. No need for the @publish. That's prior iOS 17. Works with the new observation framework. Well, actually, yeah, it is part of the observation framework. Analogy. Instead of every view keeping its own notepad, you have a shared whiteboard. Anyone can see updates and redraw themselves when something changes. I would add also right over here that it's really important that the observable is not owned by the view. The state variable is owned by the view. And the observable can be shared it can be shared to all of the views, but you may also limit it. So you're just sharing it through the environment. And how you set up the environment has those, kind of rules who can view them. When to use? For shared complex and data models across multiple views, replaces the old way of observing. Use when your state is bigger than one view or must be shared across screens. Yes, indeed. So let's just take a look at this. Counter model count. Counter model. This is fine if you want to just have a simple view model. This example does not show how we can use this through multiple views. It's kind of a view model, so MVVM style, which I made a lot of videos about its pros and cons, and mainly it's not how to use SwiftUI properly. This example lacks clarity. Okay, quick decisions. You state when the data belongs only to this view. Binding when the data is owned by someone else, but you need to read write and write to it. Use observable when the data is shared across multiple views or is a larger model. So yeah, the guide is really nice. This one is lacking more explanation on the example of the code. Okay. SwiftUI Prompt Camp is now open, designed for developers who want to actually master SwiftUI, not just copy code. Instead of wasting hours on endless tutorials, you learn how to use ChatGPT as a real coding partner to break down concepts, debug problems, and ship working SwiftUI features faster. Over 4 weeks of live Zoom sessions, I will walk you through a repeatable system for tackling any SwiftUI challenge. You'll leave with a solid mental model, cleaner workflows, and the confidence to build and scale apps without second-guessing yourself. So let's go to my next prompt. There will be 5 in total, so this is the second one. What are the most common mistakes developers make with SwiftUI navigation, and how can I avoid them? One of the few things that are still kind of clunky, not well built, in my opinion, my humble opinion, is navigation in SwiftUI. It's all over the place. Therefore, I'm just jumping on the opportunity. I created quite a lot of products around it, and they are really successful. Developers tend to like it. So yeah, that's one thing that is SwiftUI is lacking. SwiftUI navigation is powerful, but it's easy to trip over a few patterns. Here's a senior mentor style guide to the most common mistakes. Let's just see it. Mixing the old and new APIs. Yes, so navigation view is the old API, navigation stack is the new API. Navigation link with destination is the old code. There is a navigation link with destination and the label with the new code. So yes, let me just see this navigation stack. This is the way of doing it with a path and the navigation destination view modifier. Yes, so don't mix old APIs with new APIs. And yeah, you wouldn't know if you don't pay attention. Yeah, of course there is ways to double check the version, how it is supported, but yeah, multiple sources of truth of navigation state. Yeah, so you want to have one navigation state. Of course, state, you should have one source of truth that also refers to the navigation state too. Third, using non-stable identity in path. Yeah, so routes that aren't reliably hashable or unique using a model with transient IDs. Make your route an enum with stable associated IDs. I can't even think of the way of doing this wrong, basically. But yes, you want to make your route hashable. Pushing imperatively in a body. I think this is might be a hallucination. No. Indeed, so on change of or on appear will be triggered quite a lot, and it depends on many things. Don't do navigation state changes at these places. Scattering navigation destination across views. Navigation destinations need to be first of all, they need to be allowed to be viewed, to be accessed by the navigation stack. And yeah, if you are mixing them along the views, you don't know where they actually are. It can be really hard to debug and find where to change some stuff if you need it. The fix is centralized destination next to the stack, the root of the feature, the navigation stack. 6. Treating sheets, alerts, full screen covers as separate systems. Yes. Oh, separate systems themselves. So go for sheets and alerts and full screen covers in one go. Yeah, but still, again, another downside of current API of navigation, they are totally different than stacks. Deep linking as an afterthought. Oh, indeed. So deep linking is really complicated to be done with the current state of and current APIs with SwiftUI. So yes, please do concern and make it. Just think about it. How will it go? Now, Navigation Kit, take a look at my site, handles all of this really nicely. And also popping back. Overbinding models, passing view models as bindings just to navigate or toggle UIs. Yeah, this I see quite a lot in junior developer code. Yeah, don't pass along observable, put it into an environment and use it wherever you need to and only whenever you need to. 9, expecting navigation link to behave like UIKits pushed everywhere. Hiding links off screen or triggering them programmatically in odd places. Again, yeah, I don't know, odd places, because I haven't gone into this trap. Hopefully, I can't think of a bad example, but a good example, router.path, append detail, and all of that, it's good. Losing back behavior with custom toolbars. Yeah, please don't use custom toolbars. The toolbar, the built-in toolbar works really nice. So just use the environment, the dismiss. It's perfectly fine. Presenting multiple things at once. A sheet plus full screen plus alert triggered by the same event. The same event is the keyword right over here. There are going to be conflicts. Which one to present, the sheet, the full screen cover, or the alert. Funnel presentations through a single state machine, an enum, and serialized transitions, of course. Navigation state tied to ephemeral view state. Yes, don't use state. That's held by the view, as we already saw previously. Use observable as the router. Pushing identical routes repeatedly. Yeah, so I can already see this in other apps too, kind of a mistake. You just go over and over again, the same navigation. Yeah, it works, but it's a bad user experience. Overloading one view with many navigation concerns. One mega view handles path, sheets, alerts. Yeah, again, I wouldn't do that. Forgetting split view selection, iPad, Mac. Yes, please use the navigation split view for large screens. Assuming on appear is once, as I told you, on appear will be triggered randomly sometimes. Well, in your concerns, randomly, SwiftUI knows why it's doing it, but it will be triggered multiple times, not just when the view appears. Not testing, a restore, and a resume. Path doesn't survive app relaunch. Users return to the wrong screen. Yeah, if you actually need that. Here's a pattern for resuming. Here's our quick list. Yeah, we covered quite a lot right over here. And as you can see, you may fall into many pitfalls. So go ahead and check out navigation link on my site. Let's go and jump into my third prompt right over here. Explain how SwiftUI handles performance under the hood and give tips for keeping apps smooth. Making ChatGPT explain SwiftUI to our stuff is really, really nice. I could also add, in the previous video, I also had an example of explain me this thing as I were a 5-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a junior dev. Also, that's a really nice way of learning stuff and making ChatGPT explain stuff for you. Let's see, just enough. Views are values, rendering is imperative. Invalidation-driven updates, changes to observable state, invalidate parts of the tree, yes. Identity matters. SwiftUI tracks nodes. Layout is negotiation. Indeed, transaction and animation state changes are wrapped in transition object. Yeah, that's really nice if you do want to have some custom animation. Performance playbook, own the right state in the right place. Yes, indeed. State values are owned by the view. If you want a universal state, use the observable. Preserve stable identity for each with the ID. Yes, that's always, but you're going to have issues. Let's see, network connection lost, attempting to reconnect. I think this is just fine. Preserve stable identity. Don't rebuild arrays with new identifiers every update. Yes, yeah, indeed. These are really good tips. Now, let's just see. Question number 4. Quiz me on SwiftUI navigation. Give me 3 multiple choice questions and explain the answers. Okay, so let's just go through this. This should be just really simple. Which of the following is true about navigation stack compared to navigation view? A, navigation stack is available while navigation view was added in iOS 16. That's not true. Navigation stack was added in iOS 17 and navigation view was prior. So B, navigation stack supports programmatic navigation using a path binding, while navigation view does not. Yes, I think this is the one. Navigation stack cannot restore navigation state across app launches. It can, if you set it up. Navigation stack requires every route to be a view type. No, that's not true. So B is the correct answer, and we would just go through all of the 3. I'm not going to go through all of them. So here are the answers, of course. B, I believe, and B. Yep, navigation stack iOS 16. Is it 16? Yeah, I forgot about that, not 17, 16. Included path-based navigation. And then all of the correct answers to all of these with examples and, good explanation. So this is really, really powerful. Just quiz yourself. And by the way, when you are quizzing yourself, you are also making sure that it goes into your long-term memory. Okay, and final question. What are the biggest differences between UIKit and SwiftUI, and what mindset shift do developers need to make? When I started learning SwiftUI, it was such a hard thing. I was so ingrained into UIKit. There was no other thing. I knew how UIKit worked. SwiftUI is basically the other way around. So beginner developers, if they come from UIKit, beginner developers with SwiftUI, they do need to understand this. They do need to have this mindset shift. Imperative versus declarative. Yeah, so UIKit is imperative, SwiftUI is declarative. This is how you declare a label imperatively. In SwiftUI, just set up the text. That's just declare automatic updates when text changes. This is how you update manually. State-driven versus event-driven. Yes, so UIKit, you mutate UI objects directly, changing labels, toggling buttons, reloading tables, UI table view reload data. SwiftUI, you mutate state, and the UI re-renders to manage the state, which is really, really powerful. If you know how to actually use data handling in SwiftUI, you have no UI bugs. Lifecycle. UIKit, you manage lifecycle. SwiftUI views are structs that can be destroyed and rebuilt anytime. And SwiftUI will do this quite a lot. You don't control the lifecycle. SwiftUI does it. Instead, you hook into modifiers on appear, task, on change. Data flow. UIKit data is often pushed, download manually, delegates, callbacks, notifications. And in SwiftUI, data flows through property wrappers. State, binding, observable, and environment. Data is a single source of truth. Yeah, this is really important. Navigation, you imperatively push and present, and of course dismiss. SwiftUI, you declare possible routes and update a path array in binary. This is about navigation stack, but the same goes for sheet. The sheet presentation is basically it could be held in a state variable. And whenever you change the value, the data of that state variable, then the navigation is triggered. Layout. UIKit auto layout constraints and frames are defined manually. Layout is hierarchically and flexible. So it's about composition, not constraint solving. Indeed. Animations, you just use imperative block-based animation, are attached to state changes, is visible, toggle, and then again, data drives the UI. Reusability, often subclassing, UI button, your custom button. And then SwiftUI composing, you build reusable views, structs instead of subclassing. And structs are really lightweight, so you should just use this throughout your application. Please use a lot of views. Threading, Most touch UI is on the main thread. Not all, if not all, also on the main thread. Mostly true too, but the system does more behind the scenes. Yes, Swift concurrency integrates naturally with task and async await. Testing and preview, you build and run on a simulator device, storyboards, XIBs, NIP files, offer some design time UI, but fragile. Indeed. Preview provider, or just preview, gives live previews, hot reload like workflow. Yeah, and I also have a YouTube video where you can just hot reload on the simulator, which is really, really time saving. Mindset shift for UIKit developers. Think in state, not objects. Embrace ephemerality. Compose, don't inherit. Describe, don't command. Trust the diffing engine. SwiftUI views will be drawn by SwiftUI whenever it's needed. One source of truth. No more juggling multiple flags for the same state across screens. Keep state centralized and propagate it down. Yes, use the environment. The mental model shift in one line. UIKit, I manage the views. I manage the data. The views manage themselves according to the data. And that was my last prompt for this tutorial. Go ahead and check out the link for the whole playlist in the description. And if you want to join SwiftUI Prompt Camp, where we go even deeper than this, go ahead and check out the discounted link, first one in the description.